Hi guys, welcome to Alasdair Aquatics. I hope you're doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I set this Nano Reef tank up, and we're going to be taking a closer look at it. Now, it's been running for about 4 weeks. It cycled relatively quickly. I used Dr. Tim's sort of reef bacteria to cycle it, and I kept the lights off during this process. Unfortunately, I am anticipating a bit of an algae bloom in the next few weeks, but the tank's looking good, and I'll give you a closer look now. Okay guys, so here's a closer look at my new Nano Reef, and I actually want to call it my super simple Nano Reef. In terms of equipment, all I've got is a small filter and a heater and a light. Now that wave maker unfortunately is a bit redundant. I'm actually going to have to take that out soon. It was just too powerful for this little tank. So at the moment the only thing running and providing flow in this tank is the small eheim filter. I think this does about 350 litres per hour. So this tank being 10 gallons, it is getting about 10 times sort of turnover every hour, which is okay, I guess, for a sort of Nano Reef. I'm only planning on keeping easy, soft coral. As you can see here, I've got some green star polyps doing quite nicely, and I've got a little toadstool coral. He's not fully opened up yet, but I'm very excited for when he does. And over here, I've got a sort of green sinularia leather coral. Now, really enjoying this tank. I had it set up now for about sort of 4 weeks or so. This sort of reef rock structure you see in the middle, this is Marco rock, and the way I sort of glued that all together, I used super glue. Cyanoacrylate, I think it's called. That's just the ingredient sort of most commonly found in super glue, and it becomes completely inert in water, and I use sort of super glue in quite a lot of my tanks. And basically what I did is attach the pieces together with a bit of super glue, and then sort of went around the joins adding a few more layers of super glue, and was sort of sprinkling dust over the top of them. When I say dust, I mean sort of dust from this rock itself. And that sort of meant that it blended in seamlessly. I mean, when you look at this rock, it's hard to tell that it's not all one piece, whereas, you know, a matter of fact, that's actually about 10 pieces all glued together, but it's pretty sturdy and it came out really well. So I'll give you guys a view from the other side. There it is. So yeah, no, really liking this tank. In terms of the lid, I just got some of these clips. And this is, I don't know what it's used for. I think it's used for like greenhouse roofs, and I just cut it to size. Just because this is such a small tank, you know, I want to keep the equipment simple. I want to keep it minimalist. I want to just do manual top-ups once a week, hopefully, is what I'm aiming for. And, you know, having a lid allows you to just hold in. You can, I mean, you can see the amount of condensation that's formed in there. It holds in some of that evaporation. But yeah, no, the tank's looking good. And the 2 clownfish are looking really healthy as well. As you can see, we've got hopefully a male and a female, with the female being a bit larger. And I got these fish from my local sort of fish shop, and that is Ashtead Maidenhead Aquatics. So be sure to check those guys out if that's something you're interested in, or you live sort of local. So sort of south of London, sort of in the Surrey area. But yeah, no, really good aquarium shop. Lots of really cool sort of coral and aquarium supplies and fish. So yeah, be sure to check that one out if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, like I said, this wave maker along the back, I'm going to actually just remove it because I did have it on its lowest setting, and even that was really blowing the clownfish around, and it was sort of starting to blow the sand around. And you know, I just thought we can't be having that. I want to keep these fish nice, happy and healthy. And I was actually surprised how powerful these small eheim internal filters are. This is called the eheim Mini Up. At the moment, all I've got in it is a bit of filter floss, which I'm going to sort of change regularly. But I intend to eventually, hopefully, not have to have anything in there in terms of no filter media. I mean, the main filter media in a reef tank should be the rock. So as water flows through the rock, the bacteria will process that ammonia into nitrite, and then into nitrate. And then we do our water changes. So I'm planning to do weekly water changes with this one. I've been doing about sort of 20-ish% a week. I might have to up that depending on what the water tests show, as I only recently added the clownfish after completing the cycle. I mean, you know, although you do the cycle, there's always a bit of an adjustment, I think, when you go from cycling a tank, obviously without fish in it, adding ammonia and some sort of beneficial bacteria. I chose to use Dr. Tim's, the sort of reef bacteria addition. Going from that, you know, having that process ammonia to then adding fish in, I find there is still a very slight sort of bedding in phase. It's not as intense or as dramatic as a normal cycle, but you do sort of get a slight bump up in nitrate, things like that. But yeah, I think that's just normal for any sort of new tank. It goes through phases of algae. This is normally caused by nitrate, the sort of end result of the cycle. But yeah, no, these clownfish are beautiful, very colourful, very active, look very healthy. And yeah, it's just sort of placed actually on my girlfriend's desk, so she gets to sort of sit there and enjoy these guys. But yeah, no, I'm really liking the way the tank looks. I've just sort of had this idea in my head that I wanted it to be an arch, and I think it turned out pretty nicely. Now, my future plans for this tank, I am planning on getting some more coral in here. I would really like to get some more soft coral, possibly some slightly larger toadstool leather corals. They are my favourite. So maybe some green ones, some long tentacle green ones, something along those lines. I really love the idea of a clownfish anemone sort of symbiotic relationship, but in a tank of this size, it's just not going to be stable enough or big enough really for a bubble tip anemone. Obviously they grow pretty large and need very stable water parameters, and the tank needs to be set up for a while, so I won't be able to go down that route. But some more soft coral definitely. I'm thinking just more leather toadstool corals, and I'm wondering about if this GSP in this corner starts to take off, should I let it just completely take over this arch? I think that would look quite cool, but the issue I have with this being my sort of super simple nano reef, the GSP may actually block some of the flow getting to the rock, and the idea of the rock being the main filtration media in reef tanks, I don't know how beneficial that would be. That might end up being a sort of negative point for this tank. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you think that's something that's possible? Do you think it would have that big of an impact? I'd really love to know. Oh, and the light for this tank is a Kessil A80 Tuna Blue. At the moment I've got it set to 100%, and I've got it on the very white light just for whilst we're filming, just because when I put it on that blue light, unfortunately I don't yet have a orange filter lens to go over the camera. What this does is the orange filter lens sort of cancels out the blue. What I'll do though, just to give you an idea, I really like the sort of fluorescence you get in corals. Obviously with certain sort of LPS and SPS you're going to get this even more, but there's a few sort of easy corals such as GSP. So if I just turn this onto the blue setting, yeah, you can see there, that's obvious why I need the orange lens. But if I just go a bit closer to this GSP, just trying to see if you guys can pick that up. No, it'll be much easier for you guys to pick that up once I get an orange lens. But basically that GSP is fluorescing really nicely under the blue lighting. And yeah, it's something that I find sort of quite appealing, quite interesting about a reef tank. But yeah, as I said guys, literally the only thing running this reef tank is obviously the heater and that eheim pump. This wave maker is completely not plugged in. Admittedly this is early days with this tank, so I'm going to keep up with the water tests and ensure everything's looking sort of healthy and as it should, and obviously I will adjust my equipment if needs be. But I just wanted to go along the idea of sort of running this tank quite simply. I've read online of people that have run tanks literally just with live rock, which this technically is in the process of becoming. You know, it's got bacteria colonized on it, and eventually it will be home to lots of algae and copepods and things like that. But yeah, the idea is I've seen a lot of people have these simple reef tanks, sort of mega simple reef tanks, where they just have live rock and power heads or wave makers and nothing else. So all they've got is literally the live rock, which is their biological filtration, and power heads or wave makers just to move the water around through that live rock And other than that, they just do water changes and it keeps the system healthy. So a bit different to what you're used to if you're only sort of a freshwater sort of fish tank keeper. So it does feel a bit strange for me. You know, it always has done. I'm not a massive expert in saltwater. I have a fair amount of experience, but this is mostly with sort of simple nano tanks like this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And again, let me know what you think. Is there anything you do differently? Anything you add? Have you got a nano tank at home? Okay, so what I'll do now, guys, is I'll just leave you with a bit of nice calming footage of the tank. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, leave a like if you enjoyed this, and leave a comment, let me know your nano sort of saltwater experiences. And have you ever kept a sort of really super mega simple reef tank like this? And how did it go? And is there anything you think I should look out for? And you know, I'm open to hear your suggestions. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch up with you very soon. My final message is no matter what stage a tank's going through, even if it's going through a bit of an ugly phase, remember to take the time to just sit back and enjoy it for what it is and relax and watch your fish tanks. As someone like myself, I've been in the hobby for about 15 years and it gets to the point sometimes where I actually realise I'm forgetting to do that. I'm forgetting to just sit down, relax, chill and enjoy my fish tanks. So that's my final message to you guys. All right, take care and I'll give you an update and a new video very soon. All right. Bye.